Woo, baby, we're going to have a fun one today because we're going to step into politics and Trump and rumors, which I really don't want to, but we're also going to talk about Bob and Liz with some ice cream and sinkhole insurance, rec centers, rides to Disney, all kinds of stuff. Let's just go ahead and get started. Hey, how's everybody doing? And welcome to the new year. Let's go ahead and jump into this. We're going to jump up on this one with a big one here with talking a little bit about Trump and politics and that kind of stuff. So we're going to get on to that. But first of all, let me address something really quick. If you have a question or a comment, put it down in the comments. I see I know I've said this before and people just keep doing it. I see every question. I okay it to either go out or comment. I okay it to go out. I don't mind criticism as long as it's constructive. You just say, you stink. It's not going to go out there, right? If I think you're going to offend somebody by saying something ridiculous, I'm not going to put it out there because that's not what this channel is about. But if you write it in there and you have a question, I will definitely see it. If you write it someplace else on Facebook, if you try to text me, if you try to email me, chances are about 2% that I'll see it and about 1% that I'll remember, because then I got to go transfer it. And if you write it in there and I answer it, then everybody else gets to see it and everybody else gets to jump in and help also with that question. So with that said, please, 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 please do it that way. There's only one of me, and I don't want to spend all day trying to track questions down. Let's get started on these comments and questions. I'm telling you, it's going to be a fun one. Here we go. First one, and I'm going to make it an easy one just to get me warmed up after the new year because I've been kind of sitting around hanging out for a while. And with that said, I'm actually going to be going down to the villages here for a little bit, and I'll probably be staying down there for a while, so I'm kind of excited for that. Anyway, I was about ready to say Daniel writes. Daniel writes, nice golf cart. Now, for some reason, I think Daniel might work for the Villages golf cart. I could be totally wrong. But Daniel or anybody else, tell them to release my video of me buying my golf cart. I'm not sure why they haven't done that or why they wouldn't do it, because it's a great video for them. So if you go into the Villages golf cart, tell them, hey, we want to see Rusty's golf cart purchase on YouTube. Anyway, Deborah writes, Rusty, great music. Who are the artists? Now, this is from the video that Bob and Liz and I did, a restaurant review. If you haven't seen these, we usually do stuff outside the villages because everybody likes getting outside the villages once in a while. I will put the link right up here. You'll see that come out, and I'll also put it down below as I do with any of these past videos that I talk about. But actually what happens with the music, I actually pay a company and I get music from them. So I although the artist is probably on there, I don't know who it is. And also sound effects and that type of thing. So I pay them once a year and I have access to their library. That's about it. And that's how I get the music and stuff, just like you would normally think. So let's get on to the next question. In the villages, there are a bunch of people that we see working around all over the place in the villages. And one of those people is the folks that actually work down in the town square, and they're kind of crowd control. Now, let me read what Kenneth writes here. He says, please mention the Villages Entertainment Crowd Control Association keep the square safe during the events. They secure the squares with barricades and keep all the vehicles from entering the squares. In addition, they also answer questions for a lot of people. Now, this is true. We see a lot of these people working around there, and they're actually people that live in the villages and kind of do it part-time. In fact, a friend of mine right now is going through training to be one of the people, Luann, hi Luann, that's working at one of the pro shops, and she's all excited about doing it. Now, they're not making a ton of money doing this. It's not like they're going to be millionaires from this, but they are an integral part of the villages that allows it to function. And there are people that are doing it out there because they want to. Now, here's a good example. I ran into this guy, Steve, and I'll just play the clip for you. But Steve's got one of those great faces, man, that makes you smile when you talk to him. But anyway, here's Steve.
The music's real loud. I don't know that you're going to be able to hear me, but I'm here with Steve.
Steve. Say hi.
Hello.
And you just told me you just bought a house
About 2 months ago.
Bought a house 2 months ago.
2 months ago, off of your recommendation.
He's blaming it on me.
I'm blaming it on you.
He's blaming it on me.
I'm blaming it on you.
You having fun so far?
I am. I'm really enjoying
You
it.
got family down here? Or you?
No, just me and my wife. We're down here in retirement mode and loving it.
Yeah? Yeah, that's a pretty cool place, huh?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. It's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you also.
And don't mess with this guy because he's got like the suit on.
Stop it. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, man. There you go. That's Steve. Steve was a great guy. It was so funny to hear him. He says, "Yeah, you talked me into buying a house down here. That's great." And so those folks are just kind of like the rest of us down there, trying to keep us safe. So if they ask you to kind of move away or you're in the aisle, they're just doing what they're told to do and trying to help us out. So thanks a lot for writing that, Kenneth, and definitely well deserved. Thank you, folks down at the squares, for keeping us safe. Let's pop into another question. This next question, I was almost going to just kind of toss out, but I realized I got to keep reminding myself that a lot of people that are watching this channel do not actually live in the villages. So I think a lot of people that live in the villages will actually understand this question or why the question. But a lot of the people live outside the villages or come into the villages to visit may not quite understand, like Noreen. And Noreen writes, "Hey, Rusty, recently spent a week in the villages, was surprised to see a high school." So this would be the charter school up north, I believe. "If the community is a 55 plus, why is there a high school?" Now, I thought that when I first drove in, I'm going, what in the world is a high school doing here? But I had heard this is like one of the top high schools. I thought about just explaining this, but then I remembered, I try to watch a lot of these videos, and there is a video called My Middleton School. I'll put the link down below, but you should go watch this. It's got a lot of stuff on it. And there is an interview on there with Tracy Morris, Mark Morris, and Jennifer Morris-Parr. These are the developers. Now, these are the three folks that are, I'll say, the descendants of the original developer. And I think their sincerity kind of comes across pretty good. So I'd like to play a clip from this, and I'll give you the link so you can find out exactly how you can learn a lot of this information yourself. Let's go ahead and play the clip from the three of them, and then we'll talk about it for a second.
I think as a family, we realize our most valuable asset are the people that help us build our community and make everyone's dreams come true.
It's our people. It's the people that make this place tick every day. Whether it's I'm taking care of the golf courses, I'm serving you in restaurants, I'm a checker at Publix. The idea of the creation of Middleton and the expansion of the school and housing where families' dreams can come true, make it possible for villagers' dreams to come true as well.
We really wanted to build a world-class community that gives world-class goods and services to the people that live there. And we realized early that we couldn't do that without world-class people to deliver those goods and services. And so when we built the charter school, the first charter school, people looked at us and scratched their heads around, who builds a school in the middle of a retirement community? Well, we do, because we wanted to attract people who were concerned about their child's education. It says something about a person's character. Those were the type of people that we wanted to have here serving the residents of this community.
We have always reinvested in our community from day one. Whatever we had, we put it back in the community. And so when we got started and we had the concept of the charter school, we did everything that was within our means at that time to do it. And now that we're expanding, it's just taking it to that next step, that next level, that next evolution of what we're capable of creating at this time. And it's just going to be fabulous. It really is.
There you go. I put that on there simply because I couldn't have said it any better myself. So and also to show you where you can go to learn a little bit about that. And for those people that don't know, this is a community that's being created south of the Turnpike in the Villages. But think about this. The Villages has grown to 140,000 people or so, give or take whatever it is, and to supply that community and have that community thrive and make it a nice place for the people in the villages to live, you've got to, just like they said, have quality people working there. And now, how do you do that? You provide a quality place for them to live. So that is the reason, because without that school, you wouldn't have places for doctors, you wouldn't have places for people that teachers, you wouldn't have, for salespeople and everything else, all these people that work and keep this community at the level of what it is. And for me, that's one of the reasons I pulled the trigger and bought down there, was simply because of that. So I hope that answers your question. That's why they're building the schools. That's why they're building those communities that don't quite seem like a 55 plus community, but you have got to have, you want to have a quality place, you've got to have those quality people, quality families, and like they said, people that have the values that we're all looking for to be down there. Hope that answered. On to the next one. All right, here we go. Let me start out by saying I had to think a long time on how to approach this subject. And this is not a subject about politics. This is not a subject or comments about race. It has nothing to do with those. What it really has to do with it, in the heart of it, is the fact that with a place as big as the Villages, with basically 140,000 people there, that the media will attach itself to something that they can sensationalize about the Villages and portray it in whatever political whim they decide that they're going to portray it in. And unfortunately, people out there that don't live in the Villages, people that have never been to the Villages, people that don't understand the Villages, never really understand what the Villages is really like. They just see this little clip. So I thought, when this person wrote to me, one of the viewers, and it's not unlike many other comments that I get, and when they wrote to me, they made a statement, obviously don't live here, but made the statement. And I thought, you know what? I need to address that and try to explain through this one example how these things get perpetuated out there and how you really don't see the whole story. Now, let me say this also. If you're going to write stupid comments, don't bother, because I see every single comment before it goes out. And if you're going to call somebody a name, or you're going to call a political party this or that, it's not even going to see the light of day. I'll see it and throw it out. And as far as I'm concerned, you're an idiot. So how's that for something? Let me say, living in the Villages for a couple of years, I have never experienced anything racist. I have never heard anybody make a comment racist. Yes, there's people on the left that like the left thinking brain, and the people on the right that like the right thinking brain, and some of them are proud of it, and some of them fly flags. But my logic teacher in college would have given me a big fat F if I ever tried to create the logic behind, if you have a Trump flag, you're a racist, or if you have a Biden flag, you're a social communist, whatever. You can't do that. Pick that person out and make them into that. You just get an F in logic. So leave that nonsense alone, and let's pay attention to the comment thing. So Leanne writes, and I do understand as I do this, I really understand how people can think this that haven't been to the Villages. I'm sure it doesn't matter to that many people. Well, yeah, it does, Leanne, because all of us that live down in the Villages don't know the Villages in the way you obviously have perceived it. I'm sure it doesn't matter to that many people, but I never forgot the Villages Trump golf cart parade. Not sure why Trump spelled with a plus, but golf cart parade that was on every news station with the guy yelling white power. It turned my stomach. I don't want my retirement to be spent with those people. Well, Leanne, I kind of take offense to that, and you'll see why in a second, because I am one of those people. I live in the Villages. So I guess that's what you're saying to me. And then she says, I do like your videos. Well, let me say, first of all, thank you so much, Leanne, because me being who I am and living in the villages, I like to hear everybody's point of view. I may not agree with it, and I may try to explain why those points of view, which I'm going to do right here, but I kind of think that's what I like about the villages is it's really an open community. I don't see any prejudice down there. I don't see any racism down there. I don't see Asian neighborhoods or white neighborhoods or black neighborhoods. I see Asian, white, whatever it may be, no matter what the percentages are, I really don't care. Sitting belly up to a bar, having dinner together, having a good time in retirement, enjoying the rest of their life. Unfortunately, some people can't live that type of life. They've got to make trouble wherever they go, as we'll see in this video. Now, let me explain the clothes thing. I originally put up the whole video to this, trying to explain it, because I thought that white power thing had to be put into context, right? Well, when I did that, YouTube went ballistic with all of its things and probably saw all these words connected together and thought that I was trying to incite some kind of riot or something like that. So I had to go back because of copyright stuff and violent stuff and all this. Part of it because of the foul mouth of this one woman. I had to redo it. And like I said, don't make any comments about people. Please just leave it alone. This is about this process. So using Leanne's statement, I'm going to go back and take a look at this part of the parade as best as I can. You will see I have to put in still images and stuff and tell you what happened just because it'll never make it through YouTube. But here we go. Let's get started on this. Just a little background on this whole situation and how it came about, especially for those people that don't live in the villages that are sitting outside. You have to understand one thing. In the villages, everybody's down there to have a good time. So if they can find anything to have a good time with, they're going to go out and do it. It's just the way it is. And one of those things they do is they have golf cart parades. Golf cart parades are just one of those things that we do down in the villages, and it could be a Santa Claus parade. I'll put the link up top to our Santa Claus parade or pub crawl that we did, which was a lot of fun. That's a good example of what it is. So in this thing, a bunch of people go out and decide to celebrate President Trump's birthday, and they decide to go out and have a parade. Is from what I can gather. Obviously, I wasn't there at the time, but from what I can gather from these videos, and it's important because that we take a look at the whole thing to understand what's going on and how this white power thing came about and where it really belongs in context. And so what they did was, I'm going to introduce you to the characters, and what they did is they went out and had this golf cart parade. And we're going to see basically a couple pieces of that and see what happened and who these people are that were in the parade. So let's take a look at the first video. Hopefully this gets through YouTube, but let's give it a shot.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. Hey!
First off, that was actually part of a video from the villages-news.com. Great source of information. Go over there and sign up with them if you want. There's also the villagesdailysun.com, another great source of information for everybody. And so do those look like a bunch of trouble hoodlums out there trying to cause a bunch of problems? Now, if you want to have a parade for Biden, that's fine. If you want to have one for Trump or DeSantis or whatever, go have it, right? Go have a lot of fun. But in my Hollywood days, we would call one person the protagonist and we have the other one as the antagonist. So we have those people going out to have a good time and drive around the villages and celebrate Donald Trump's birthday. And then you have other people. And what happened is when they arrived with a parade at one of the town squares, this is one of the people that they ran into. Now, I'll just let you listen to a little bit. It does continue on after that, but I think you get the gist from a short clip.
Personally, I'm from Connecticut. I live in a very diverse state up here. I did not know that there was no diversity down here when I came. Black Lives Matter to me. Trump is destroying our country, and I absolutely can't sit back and watch what he's doing. I can't stand Trump. I think he is a pervert. I think these people are part of a cult and brainwashed.
All right, here we go. Now, this is about where we get to meet up with the guy yelling his slogan here. You can already see what's going to happen. You got a bunch of people going out and having a good time riding around their golf carts. They got their signs and everything, and they're about ready to meet up with this woman and her friends that are obviously on different sides of the fence. Now, I have no problem with people standing on the side of the street or riding around their golf carts or whatever, having a good time or protesting or do whatever they want to do. That's what life's all about. It's a great part of America. The problem is when you start to get into somebody's face and you start to mess with them a little bit, you start calling people names for whatever reason, calling them names, which is probably not true. You're just singling one person out of nowhere and you start yelling at them. And that's where this man yelling white power comes about. Now, I want you to watch it. I had to bleep half of it out because if I didn't, I'd end up getting copyrights and everything else. But basically what he's doing is he's riding along in his golf cart. This guy gets in his face and starts yelling at him, "Where's your white hood? Where's your white hood? You're a racist, like that." And he starts yelling at him. And this guy, of course, turns around while this guy's yelling at him, calling him names. And I believe, personally, he's sitting there going, "Yeah, right. Okay, white power, like that." And then the guy yelling goes, "Yeah, see, he said white power." And so take a look at the clip really fast. And remember, the only thing that you really get to see on a lot of these news stations is just the guy saying white power. You don't see the bunch of the guys going out and celebrating the birthday. You don't see the peaceful golf carts riding along. What you see is this.
Where's your white hood? Yeah, you got it, you. White power.
There you go. That's the infamous clip. And I'm so sorry I had to bleep half that out, but that's the only way I could get it up there on YouTube was to bleep out half of that. Now, just to go back and look at that really quick, I honestly believe that guy, as he's riding along, after being called, somebody saying, "Where's your white hood? Where's your white hood? Racist, calling this guy a racist." He's out there to have a good time driving around his golf cart. And he turns around and it almost looks like he's smiling towards the end after being called a racist. And the guy just like in retaliation goes, "Yeah, okay, yeah, right. White power." Okay, like that. Now, to put it more into context, this is also what they were running into as they were driving around in their golf cart. And watch, because this lady actually jumps out in front of this guy's golf cart, and I'll show you, instead of cursing and yelling at her, I'll show you exactly what he does right afterwards.
Trump! Oh, would you stop the language? Trump! Nasty language! Oh, listen to your president if you want nasty language, you idiot!
Officer! Get back in your car, ass! You said to me. Get back in your car, ass! Pick on a woman, dickwad. You big boy!
You touch me!
Hey, where's the officer?
Where's the officer? Where's the officer?
Now, in that clip, you got this poor guy driving along, and he's getting back into his golf cart because he turned around to some lady that was out there. I don't even know what she said, because he says to the other guys, "Do you hear what she just said to me?" Right? So he's not doing anything, and you can kind of tell that by his answer. So he turns around getting ready to leave, and then the other lady jumps out in front of his golf cart. He stops, and I saw the expression on his face in another part of the, he's going, and he just sits there like this until somebody comes along and scoots that lady out of the way. She's over there yelling for the officer to come, like this guy was trying to hit her or something like that. So I guess, let's take a look at this guy, what his answer was. Now, I didn't hear any of the people in the golf carts cursing or anything else except saying stop the language and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's it. After being called a Nazi racist pig, being called all these other names and stuff like this guy finally gets into his golf cart after being called names and everything, and he goes, that's it. Not a curse word, nothing, and then just sits there and waits for this lady that jumps out in front of his golf cart to get out of the way. Leanne, I'll tell you right now, The Villages is not what you see when the media takes just a little itty bitty tiny clip like that and shows you that. Nothing like The Villages. In fact, The Villages is probably one of the most inclusive places I've ever been to. And that's all I need to be said. Hopefully you get the gist of that, and everybody else watching, don't listen to the rumors. Don't listen to the radical nonsense, because it's not like that. So now, to end the next question on a really much lighter note, like dealing with ice cream, and you see I have an even bigger smile when we're talking about ice cream. And let's go ahead and jump on to the next question. You'll see why I'm kind of smiling. This last question here, I'll read the question and I'll tell you what we're doing, because we're going to call Bob and Bob and Liz and find out. So, Pseudo, I guess it is, Pseudo 1. Did Bob ever get to spin the prize wheel at the ice cream place? Now, he may have done it. He only had one thing left, I think, but let's give him a call and find out. Hopefully you can hear this.
Hello.
Hey, Bob. It's Rusty.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on air right now. So, Sue, a woman asked a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Bob ever get to spin the prize wheel at the ice cream place? So did you?
I haven't yet.
You haven't.
I've got one punch left.
One punch left. Okay, you want to wait till I get down there?
Yeah, it works.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. That was it. That's all I got. Hopefully you and Liz are doing good. I'll be down there in a little bit.
All right. That sounds good.
Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Bye.
And there you have it. I'll tell you what. Well, you know what? A lot of people, I guess, don't know what Sue was talking about. When Bob and Liz and I go out to do our restaurant review stuff, which is a lot of fun, we like to sneak over to Mystic Ice Cream and go have some ice cream over there. And there they have a punch card where you have to punch so many, and then you get to spin a wheel and you win a prize, whatever that prize may be. So Bob has one left. I think I got two left. And I guess next time we go out, we'll find out whether we get to spin the wheel or not. A lot of fun. Anyway, I hope a lot of people can sit there and the thing with the Trump thing and the white power, they understand how rumors got started and all that nonsense and how the media turns that around. And poor Leanne thinks that there's a bunch of people running around doing white power, so I'm sure there's other people out there too. Leanne, nah, sorry, it's not that thrilling down there. Everybody I know just wants to play pickleball and golf and tennis and all those other things and have a good time. Really not a political place, so to speak. Sure, people are proud of what they do, but it's not in your face. And basically, people don't want to hear about it, whether it's from the left or the right. Anyway, so that's over with. I got that out, and hopefully nobody gets choked up about it. Definitely take a look at the Middleton, the video. Go to that site. I think it's mymiddleton.com. Really good information on the new area that's coming down in the villages. And hopefully in a couple of weeks, I will be back down in the villages. I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. We'll take those other questions. I'll push those back till next Sunday, and I'll probably do those. I'm just too exhausted after that last one to go any further with it. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. I'll either see you down in the villages. I'll see you back here on YouTube. Bye.